Jess with Jessfor30, and we're at beautiful Lakeland Country Club today in Brighton, Michigan. And I have with me a very good friend of mine. We've actually become great friends over the last 3 or 4 years, Peter Ginopolis. Welcome, Peter.
Well, you know what? It's really nice to be here because I'm with the ultimate class, the king of class, Ron, the Mayor Jess.
Thank you, Peter. You are great. So, Peter, where were you born?
Detroit.
Detroit?
Yeah.
And your parents, you come from a Greek family?
Right.
Both parents?
Yep.
And
second generation. My dad was first generation. I'm second generation.
Was your father in the restaurant business?
Yep, all his life.
What restaurant?
Well, he owned Nick's Bar and Restaurant and Livernois and Tireman in Detroit.
And what did they do? Just
bar and restaurant.
Bar and restaurant, yeah.
That bar on one side, the restaurant on the other side.
So you moved from Detroit to Dearborn in the mid-50s?
Dearborn Heights in the mid-50s.
Mm-hmm.
And graduated in '64.
Was that before you played for the Pistons and Red Wings?
I never played for the Pistons.
We got to show the rings, Peter.
Well, I got very lucky, okay? Mike Illich and Marion and Carl Bayoff, I worked for them at their 6th location of
Little Caesars.
Little Caesars. And we continued our relationship for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And through our relationship, when they won the second-year Stanley Cup ring, they gave me one.
When I was 13, my sisters, Kathy, Denise, and Diane, all worked at the 2nd or 3rd Little Caesars ever. They owned by Marion Illich's parents, Phil and Helen. And I think they were Greek. Do you know that?
Macedonian, I believe.
Was that? Yeah. He had a very caustic tongue.
If you want to say that.
Well, I mean, it was a Catholic. We got all Catholics coming over there. We got an education, but anyway, Mike owned it, and occasionally they'd have limbo contests there. And I remember Mickey Lolich came, and he did some interviews there and made some pizzas with us. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. You worked for Carl Bayoff at the Little Caesar,
Mike Illich
and he had 5 or 6 restaurants. You said?
That was the 6th store, the one on Beach Daily and Joy Road.
Okay, yeah, those were fun times.
Yeah.
Then you worked at the DRC.
Yeah, I used to exercise horses in the morning.
Did you?
Yeah.
And how was that?
It was fun.
Met a lot of interesting people.
Oh my God, them trackers are characters.
Well, you're quite the character.
Well,
Peter. I mean,
I had a lot of experience, as you want to put it.
And my baseball coach at St. Agatha in Redford was Dan Sweeney, and he was a model. And I came home, we had 8 kids, and came home around Christmas, and my dad says, look at this Sears, and there's Dan Sweeney. He says, your coach is on the head of the Christmas Sears catalog. And you were doing the same thing. You knew Dan.
Oh, yeah. I think one of my biggest kind of letdowns was I was doing modeling, and I was in the newspaper probably 2 or 3 times a week. So I was dating this girl, and I go to her house, and she just got a brand new puppy. Well, that puppy, you know what? He did his number right on my picture.
Oh,
she had the newspaper laid out, and my picture was there.
That's great. I'm kind of thinking your first restaurant was Ginopolis Capreros at Schoolcraft.
Schoolcraft.
Yeah. How was that?
Good. That was our start. We started, as a matter of fact, that started us rolling because we got to meet a lot of, interesting people. Back then it was really unique that the bar and restaurants were independently owned. They weren't, no franchise weren't around like they are today.
Well, what's really cool about that is there's a guy named Denny Nitel. He's 5 years younger than me, and he worked for Peter at that time. He went to St. Gemma's, which was right behind Caprero's, and I was golfing with him out here last week with my brother. And then the other thing was my wife was a teacher also at St. Gemma's, and all the other teachers and faculty would go eat at Caprero's. And that was supposed to have great pizza?
Oh yeah, that I'll tell you what, that became a real destination place.
Was it?
I mean, we used to have everybody in there. Like, the celebrities first started coming in. When celebrities, like a lot of athletes, people don't realize, back then, a lot of athletes had 2 jobs. Because they didn't make enough money as an athlete to sustain them through the years. So they would either work for a dealership or they would rep companies, and that's why a lot of football players, baseball players got into doing other things than being reps. And then they opened up their own companies and became very successful because they didn't make the money they made today.
Well, doesn't Miggy Cabrera clean houses on the weekends, or?
I don't know if I should answer that question.
Go ahead.
Yeah. You're the best.
Peter had multiple businesses before. There's going to be no question in this interview, and we didn't talk about it, but he's going to agree about it, I'm pretty sure. Peter had multiple businesses before he opened Ginopolis over at Middle Belt and 12 Mile?
Middle Belt and 12 Mile.
Middle Belt and 12 Mile. What were those businesses?
Middle Belt and 12 Mile.
Before there.
We first bought the bar that was on there was called Oba's.
Okay.
It was just a shot and beer place. And then we bought it, ran it like that, and being a shot and beer place, I was hanging around with a lot of athletes then, and then they started to come in and the place became very popular as just a little shot and beer place. And we owned the whole corner there.
You had a barber shop? Did you own the barber shop?
Well, that was later.
Okay.
That was later. Then we tore that one down. We built the 12 Mile Middle Belt, the Ginopolises that a lot of people know, and we had a barber shop in the foyer as you came in there. But it was really unique. When we bought the restaurant and we built the new place, by having the contacts of the people coming in the little place, all of a sudden we were making the new place one of the hottest places in Michigan. We were written up in Playboy magazine, one of the top singles bars in the country.
Wow. So you would offer people a little trim and a shot, is what you're saying?
Well, we could do that. We did a lot of trimming.
Oh, did you?
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys all?
I mean, by having the restaurant, I had the opportunity of meeting so many nice people. I mean, I could go on and on and on. I mean, like Chuck Daly. Chuck Daly became a very, very close friend of ours.
Yeah.
And I was one of the first guys to meet Chuck Daly when he became head coach of the Pistons.
Yeah, then he was Daddy Rich?
Oh, Daddy Rich. You know, I got to tell you something. I did a lot of Cousins ads, okay? I did
Cousins.
Yeah, clothing ads, right? So when Chuck came in, all of a sudden he became he grew a relationship with Harry Cousins, the owner. And I used to do the modeling. Well, Chuck took my thunder away from me.
Oh, he did.
And I used to razz him all the time. Chuck, what'd you do? You took my job away from me. That's not right. What's wrong?
He looked good in a suit.
Oh, yeah, Daddy Rich.
So over there, and I know some of your other favorite guests that came through there.
Oh, I know you had so many.
Yeah.
I mean, Frank Sinatra.
Right.
Okay.
And
Bob
you guys,
Hope.
So who else was there?
I mean, I could go on. Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
All the sports guys. I mean, you name it. one day I get a phone call. The Tigers are playing the New York Yankees, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I get a phone call from Don Scalia, who is he worked with the New York Yankees. And he calls me up and he says, Pete, he said, the game's over with. He says, we got the bus waiting for us. We want to come to your place. Can you fit us in? I said, are you kidding? Now, we're talking about the New York Yankees.
Yeah.
Don Mattingly.
Reggie Jackson.
Not Reggie Jackson. No, he
Yankees?
wasn't with. Yeah, but not at that time.
Oh, okay.
So anyways, they bring the bus all the way to our place on 12 Mile Middle Belt in Farmington Hills. The bus unloads. I have the whole New York Yankee team in my place, and the Tigers show up.
Well, great.
It was really nice. And I'll tell you what, I get to meet, like I said, a lot of really nice people.
Yeah.
I mean, I found out, like, Dave Mattingly, what a sweetheart, okay? It just, I mean, it was unique how I got to meet people, and that's how our business grew.
So did you hang out with, when the Pistons came, did you hang out with Chuck Daly away from the restaurant?
As a matter of fact, when Kelly Chapuk got married,
Yeah.
in New York, so I was invited. So Chuck and I are staying at the same hotel. So Chuck comes up to me and he says, hey, Pete, he says, what are you doing tonight? I don't have anything planned. He says, well, I'm going to tell you right now, New York is my town. I'm going to take you out. I'm going, what? I says, I'm ready. Nighttime comes, we go out. He takes me to the Palms. We go to the Palms, we have dinner at the Palms. Now, remember, New York is his town. And these people come walking in, they come over to the table, oh my God, Pete, how are you?
Oh.
I introduce him to Chuck. Chuck's, his town, right? So Chuck says, you know what, I'm gonna take you over to P.J. Clark's. So we go to P.J. Clark's. We're in there, and he says, you know what, my buddy Jimmy Weston owns a place just around the corner over here. He says, we'll go over there, we'll walk over there. So we come out of there, and we're standing at the light waiting for it to change. All of a sudden, this big guy comes over on me, and it didn't look too safe right now. Remember, New York is Chuck Daly's town.
Right.
So the guy's looking down, and Chuck, underneath his voice, says, oh, shit. I go, uh-oh. Hey, my man, you know who that is? That's Chuck Daly, head coach of the Pistons.
Oh.
He goes, Chuck Daly, 5, 10, 15, 20. We're walking across the street. He looks over and he goes, hey, Chuck, nice meeting ya. Chuck says, Pete, I don't believe you. I mean, God. I said, Chuck, when you're on the street, you got to think quick.
Yeah. Who was it? Just.
Who's that? The guy?
Yeah.
We don't know. We didn't want to know either.
I thought maybe you knew him or something.
No.
Yeah.
So we thought there was going to be a problem. So I had to think quick, get us going. And then we go, Chuck says, I'm going to take you over to this disco. I think it was 54, right? So we're in a car, Chuck drives over there, right? Chuck says, we ain't getting in there. There's a line around the corner. And I said, Chuck, just here, let me off real quick. So I get out of the car and he pulls over to the side. I go up to the front. Here's these big bouncers with tuxedos on. And I introduced myself and I said, I got Chuck Daly with me. I says, any problem getting into, we're here for Kelly Chapuka's wedding and we just want to know if we could come and just have a couple drinks. You got Chuck Daly with you? Come on.
Oh.
So I go over and I said, Chuck, come on. So Chuck gets out of the car, Daddy Rich, right? He straightens up and he does this little strut. And I introduce him to the guys at the front. We walk in. Chuck looks at me. He says, Pete, he says, how'd you do that? I said, Chuck, stick with me. Stick with me. I'll get you in anywhere.
You had a little practice.
Oh, I would razz him all the time. He was one of the nicest guys you could be. He took time out to everybody he met.
Yeah.
And another one, Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Muhammad Ali was probably, by far, the most congenial, he wasn't the best athlete in the world, or best well-known athlete. He was the best known person in the world.
Yeah, for
Everybody knew Muhammad Ali. I mean, you take him to a game, he'd chant. They would sit there and chant,
For his name.
Ali, Ali. But he would come into our place, he would walk around, talk to people, and there was a little baby. He would always ask if he could cradle the baby. He'd walk around the restaurant,
Hold the baby.
love baby. I mean, he never refused an autograph. He was in there one time, and he was leaving, and they stopped him towards the bar. He was leaving. Somebody asked him for an autograph, and he signed an autograph. And somebody else came up. He wound up sitting at a table. There was a line through the bar. We had to have over 300 people in the place. They came through that line. He signed everybody an autograph that wanted one. Before he left, he looked at me and said, you know, Pete, he said, I'm getting ready to leave. Does everybody have an autograph that wants one?
Nice.
Now that's class.
That is class.
And I tell every athlete I meet at the time, I say, you know what? There's one guy you take lessons from, Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Because he never refused an autograph, and you know what? He doesn't think he's better than anybody. I met so many nice people, and I could go on and on and on.
Well, it's good to be humble, isn't it? I mean, the reality is, and I'm serious. I mean, you have to be humble. No matter what you do or who you. I always, like with my kids, a few of them are in sales. And they'd say, well, what's it like, Dad, early on? And I'd say, well, it's a simple thing. Whether you're with the speaker or the sweeper or you're with the CEO, they're the same. It doesn't matter. You treat those sweepers just like the CEO. And that's, if you do that,
he might become the CEO one day.
We've seen some of that maybe over years. There's another guy that was in Detroit. He was taken over by Paul W. Smith, and I know Peter had to have a relationship with the guy. And when we lived in Ohio with our 3 kids for about 6 or 7 years after we were married, my wife and I, WJR was our connection to Detroit. So I was driving 45,000 miles, 50,000 a year, so I'd get in the car, first thing, WJR, and there's J.P. McCarthy. There was nobody ever before him, after him, well, maybe before him, but certainly after him. Paul W. Smith, good guy, so-so, I mean, not funny like J.P., And JP had this reputation. He won the Moscone Award, the best radio guy in the country, once or twice or 3 times. One time we were listening to him, Peter, and he was on his boat, and they're looking for him. Everybody's trying to find out where he is. Well, he kind of was out with his buddies a little late, Reedy's Pub, and a few others, maybe Billy Martin. I don't know who he was on the boat with, but he kind of missed his 6 a.m. They had to delay the show for him. I think he got in about the 8:30, but just this smooth voice. J.P. McCarthy, go ahead.
He would come in my place all the time.
Yeah. A gentleman, too.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Good Irishman. Yeah, he was well respected, and you know, for us being away, you're away for 7 years, we're missing our family. My kids are down there, and my wife keeps telling me, hey, we're missing Grandparents' Day, we're missing that, we're missing your 7 brothers and sisters, my family. She says, you know, we can't stay down here. We just built a beautiful home in Medina, Ohio. And she comes to me, and we're sitting near the fireplace having a beer or something one night, and she says, Ron, we got to go home. And I said, yeah, we need to be home. And that's how we got to Brighton. And what happened was I called the owner, the president of Traris, the company I work for, and I said, I'm down here as a regional manager. We're coming home. And it wasn't like we were asking him. I was telling him in a nice way, we're coming home, where we belong. And Brighton's been What do you think of Brighton, Peter?
Oh, Brighton's a great city.
Yeah, good people?
Yeah. Good. Well, look at who I'm with.
Oh, stop.
The mayor.
I don't know what to say. You're shining
Now
me.
you're being humble, and I like that.
Do you? You know, one of the things I wanted to talk about and had written down last night was in the business of restaurants, especially the old days, you had a lot of restaurateurs, and I only knew two of them, Peter and John Zaccanini at Mamma Mia's. And the guys that own it now at Grand River and Beach, I'll give them a plug. That is our hangout in Redford Township, the Jess family. That's where we go. Great. It's a pizzeria with a great antipasto, and they've got all kinds of great food. But John Zaccanini was just like you, Peter. He went out and saw the people. I watched Peter. You remember how we met? At your restaurant in Brighton?
I got on your nerves, didn't I?
You mean now or then? No, here's how we met. We were sitting in there, my son and my son-in-law and his buddy, so Jeremy Jess, Tony Augusta, and Josh Lazarzik, my son-in-law.
Now, I don't want to interrupt you, but I'm going to tell you one thing right now. This is being humble. Continue with the story.
All right. So we're sitting there. They had been hunting, and oh God. Peter comes up, and I see him doing what he's been. I'd seen him before up there, but he shakes hands and he talks to everybody who comes in. He's just makes everybody feel like they're at home. So he comes up to me. I'm sitting there with my kids, and I got up and I shook his hand. I go, "Hey, Peter, how are you?" He says, "Hi." I go, "I'm Ron Jess," and he says, "Oh, hi, Ron." And I said,
I'm the mayor. I'm the mayor of Brighton. I said, "Oh, you are? Wow." Now, meanwhile, Ron does not know that the real mayor and the mayor pro temp are sitting about 5 chairs away, and he's introducing himself as the mayor of Brighton, and the real mayor is over there. So I said, "Oh, you are?" I said, "Oh, it's so nice to meet you." So I go over there and I grab the real mayor. And I walk over to Ron Jess, funny. And I introduce Ron Jess to the mayor of Brighton. Well.
And the pro tem.
And, well, he came after that.
Right.
He said, "Oh, by the way, I want to say I'm the pro temp." But the mayor comes over and I introduce, I said, "Mayor, I want you to meet the mayor."
That was pretty funny.
Ron, were you caught for words?
No, I said, "Hey, I'm just, honorary mayor of Brighton, for 30 years.
Well,
Come on."
You should have seen the look on his face. It was priceless. Ron, look. Okay.
That was funny, though, wasn't it?
Oh, that was hilarious.
Yeah, you've told that story a few times, Peter.
And I'm still telling.
Yeah, you are. Lights, camera, pickles. There you go. Oh, I better open it.
Wait.
What?
I have to tell you something.
Yes, sir.
Ron gave me a jar of pickles, and he said, "Pete, you got to wait for 2 weeks."
Yes, sir.
Before you open these pickles. Mm-hmm. So about 10 days, he calls me up. He said, "Hey, how'd you like the pickles?" I said, "Ron, it hasn't been 2 weeks yet." He said, "That's okay. Open them up, taste them."
They wouldn't kill you.
Well, I wanted to wait, so I let them marinate for a whole 2.5 weeks.
Were they good?
They were excellent.
Thank you, Peter.
Ron Jess's Pickles. If you want to buy them, go to your nearest grocery store, and they'll be on the shelf.
Well, not quite that. You better retake that. We give away 60 of these a year, Peter. And you got to have one, right?
The top's gonna.
I know. You think I've opened a few of these?
Yeah.
We give 60 away a year. I think we said that last week.
Don't.
All right.
Okay.
Tell me what you think.
I'm going to tell you right now.
I'm actually going to have one.
This reminds me of the time I did a Kentucky Fried Chicken commercial.
Oh.
Okay? I had Caprel's, and the reason I'm telling this story because this reminds me of this.
Oh.
So I walk over to the table. I said, "How is everything?" Guy says, "Oh, this is really nice." Him and his wife are sitting there. And he says, "You know, Pete," he says, "this is our first time here." He says, "What would you suggest?" I said, "My dad made some fresh chicken today." I says, "Really? I just got into modeling." I says, he says, his wife looks at him and says, "He does all the Kentucky Fried Chicken commercials." I says, "You're kidding." I sat down at the table and I started eating air. I said, "I gotta get a commercial. I gotta work for you. I wanna sell chicken. Watch." And I'm going like, That next week, I was shooting a Kentucky Fried Chicken commercial.
Seriously?
That's why the pickle, I want to show you how I can eat it and make it look really good. God darn it. Almost said the other word.
How is it?
Let me finish.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry to interrupt.
I'm enjoying every little bite. You don't understand what you have there.
Oh.
You have, my wife always yells at me, "Don't talk with your mouth full," but I can't help it, it's so good. I gotta express myself. Boom. I dropped the pickle, give me another one.
God. You are something.
Come on. I gotta have my pickle fix.
Here you go, Peter.
Oh, okay, I'm not gonna let this one drop. You know why? I'm gonna leave the whole thing in my mouth.
And how was it?
How is it?
How is it?
It's phenomenal.
Last time we did this, we called these the GD pickles. I just want to clarify, the GD means garlic dill. My mom would like that clarified.
Damn, I get a fork too.
You can have them both. That's your pay for today.
Well, God bless you. It's been a tough year.
Oh yeah, you know what? That's what we were going to talk about. Peter is moving out of Brighton, has moved out of Brighton. You had started like a comedy business. We went to see Billy Bush there. He was pretty good out of Redford. He went to Redford Union. Like a lot of buddies went there. Keith Meredith, our friend, our real good friend Keith Meredith, went there, and they were just up the street with us. But Billy came there and he performed in the basement. And that used to be a smoking lounge down there.
It used to be a cigar bar.
It was a cigar bar, yeah, and it's a beautiful restaurant. But living in Brighton and not moving from Brighton, I'll be careful about talking about this, is that what they did down there after people suffered for 2 years with the COVID, they had the curse of America and the world. Well, after suffering through all that and the hardships, everybody got those weird tents, those clear tents and stuff. On top of it, what does Brighton do for the last 8 months, 9 months? They shut out the main artery, Grand River, from Main Street. So the last count I had heard is 4 businesses out of business. I don't know if it's the right time. I don't know if I really don't know the situation, whether they got federal money, why they had to fix this after you went through all you guys did for 2 years or 3 years.
Well, I look at things this way. You know what? Things happen for a reason. Mm-hmm. Whether it's good or bad, you never know. But I'm fortunate enough to open up a carryout in New Hudson. Mm-hmm. Right off the 96 Expressway by Walmart, and it's in a little strip mall. It's called Gus's Carryout. Mm-hmm. They're really famous for their breadstick and their breadsticks and their salads, and besides that, all their food is just absolutely phenomenal. My best buddy Aaliyah, Nicholas, who's the founder and the owner of Gus's, he's helping me get started with a Gus's Carryout.
Well, I'm gonna miss your restaurant in Brighton, and I'm gonna miss seeing you guys all the time.
Well, you know where to find me.
Well, we'll be there, but what I'm going to miss more than that is we used to dine and dash at it all the time, and it was great. You know, we'd just go out the back door and not pay the bill.
You don't understand. I still got your bills that you walked out on.
You do?
You dine and dashed?
3 or 4 times.
Well, I got 6.
That's a joke.
Oh, no, it isn't.
Anyway, isn't this a beautiful location?
Oh, my God, this is a hidden secret out here.
Yeah, well, that's
this
what yeah.
golf course. When I pulled up and I saw this country club, oh my God, it's gorgeous.
It is.
I mean, this is a hidden secret, and if I was closer, I would probably join.
Well, I'll give a plug for Lakeland. We've been here about 10 years, my wife and I, and the kids, our grandkids go through the junior program here, so that's really fun. And Eric Martin's the pro here. And I got involved here with another Greek friend of mine, Jimmy Mellis, and golfed with his son out here last night. And I remember sponsoring Jim to become a Catholic. He had been to Rome and he had been to the Basilica, and I think he had a vision or something. And so he called me and he said, "Hey, Ron, will you sponsor me to become a Catholic?" And I kind of knew it was really involved, and I said, no, look for a cousin, a brother-in-law, a friend that's a Catholic, have them do it for you. Somebody had canceled on me once before. And so I said, you know, if you can't get anybody in 2 weeks, I'll do it. 2 weeks, sure enough. Hey, Ron, you can do it. So I sponsored him. Did I realize it was 7 months every Sunday from 8:30 in the morning till 1 in the afternoon every Sunday? But it was worth it. But getting back to Lakeland, where we just started, is the junior golf program, and how it works here is the membership here is really a nice group of people. We've gone for their Christmas dinner or New Year's Eve dinner, Easter, and it's kind of like that family feel, Peter. You know, and you come here and it's just. I've been to other country clubs, and
it's a down-to-earth country club.
Bingo.
And you know what? If you can see through the cameras, this beautiful view back here. It's unbelievable. Look at how green it is. Look at, I mean, this is gorgeous.
Yeah. Well, Peter, he was talking earlier, you know, I don't know, he has a man crush on me. And he said I had one on him. So I would love to give him a big hug and a big thank you. I really respect you, Peter, and I respect our friendship.
Well, like I said earlier, okay? You are the king of class. The mayor, Ron Jess, he is the man.
That was nice. I appreciate it.
You know, I worked all night for that saying.
Well, I'll give you a hug for that.